Hello there. We have one last question to address in this critical thinking exercise. It's the last question in the study guide questions below. Explain how each main idea about origins views the process of natural selection. Include the fixity of species concept. Well, the concepts today, according to Professor Veazey's analysis, are totally natural evolutionists, old Earth creationists, young Earth creationists. We talked about those. And for this analysis, we're also going to include an idea that, according to Professor Veazey, nobody's pushing it today, and that is, at the right end, this thing called fixity of species. The idea of what? That species are fixed. They never change. They never change. And so the idea is this. We find one person in each group and ask them this question. Now it's going to be a little hard to find fixity of species, but we'll give it a shot. And that is, what's the question? The question is, what do you believe about the power of natural selection? Of course, we're assuming mutations and meiosis and all those things. But what do you believe about the power of natural selection to change species, change organisms over time? What do you believe about the power of natural selection to change species over time? And so we look real hard. Maybe even take a time machine. We find somebody who believes in fixity of species and knows what they're talking about. We ask that fixity of species person, what do you believe about the power of natural selection to change organisms over time? And what would that fixity of species person probably tell us? Probably tell us, what? You kidding me? There is no such thing as natural selection. I think that's what a fixity of species person would say. No such thing as natural selection. All right. So, okay, bye. Young Earth creationists, what would they say about natural selection? These are the shrubs folks. The shrub folks. Do they believe that natural selection can make changes? Big changes or small changes? Just small changes, right? They believe in microevolution only. And so, they would believe that natural selection can make minor changes only. Minor changes only. Natural selection can make minor changes only. So much and no more. Just so much. Just natural, just microevolution. All right, now as we come down to the left, are folks more or less impressed with the power of natural selection to change organisms over time? They get more and more impressed, do they not? Yes, they do. And so, what would an old Earth creationist say about the power of natural selection to change organisms over time? I think they'd say it can do a lot. It can do a whole bunch. It did an awful lot over the millions of years, but some supernatural activity was necessary. They would say natural selection, and of course we're assuming mutations, meiosis, and so forth. Natural selection made major changes, but some supernatural activity was necessary. Some supernatural activity was necessary. Now, necessary. Some of you probably wondered why I made that old Earth creationist spread across so much of the spectrum. Because there's a lot of variation. If you read the literature of folks that believe in an old Earth, yet they believe in some supernatural activity. Some believe in very little supernatural activity. They'd be down this way. Some believe in quite a bit. They'd be down this way. So there's some variation. But they do believe that natural selection made major changes, but some supernatural activity was necessary. Now, we get to the totally natural evolution folks. And what do they believe about the power of natural selection to change organisms? They believe natural selection, along of course with mutations and meiosis and all that, natural selection did what over time? It made major changes. How much supernatural activity was necessary? None whatsoever. And so, natural selection made major changes. No supernatural activity was necessary or occurred. This group, of course, include atheists who believe in no supernatural activity at all, and it would include folks who believe in a supernatural being but does not believe that supernatural being was involved in origins. All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. What the various groups would say about the power of natural selection to change organisms over time. Okay, that's it.